Hi, my name is James Broberg and I'm founder and CEO of StreamShark. And today I'm going to talk to you about hardware encoders. Now, if you've done live streaming before, you'd certainly know that there's a lot of software solutions that you can use to get your live video feed, your live video source up to a streaming provider such as StreamShark. So you may have used software such as Wirecast, XSplit, OBS, or even vMix to get your live stream to a streaming provider over the internet. But today I specifically want to talk to you about hardware encoders and really talk about some of the reasons you might choose to use a hardware encoder over a software encoder. So Teradek make a range of really interesting hardware video encoding devices. Some of them are designed to be used in data centers and racks, but they do have a really great range of portable encoders that include the Cube, which we might talk about in the future. But today I want to talk to you about the Vidiu range of portable live streaming video encoders from Teradek. So I have one here. This is actually the original Vidiu. You can see the small form factor, which makes it quite compact. It has a mounting hole here that you could potentially mount on a tripod underneath your camera for real run and gun on the go shooting. And it has just a couple of inputs. It has a HDMI input. It also supports a wired Ethernet connection, as well as a USB port where you can drop in a 4G LTE USB dongle. So certainly positive attributes. It's small, it's compact, it's pretty easy to get up and running. It has some basic remote control capability. It doesn't have a full SDK or API like some of the higher end devices like the Cube, but it does have a simple remote XML configuration that you can pre-seed a unit to have it auto-configured when it starts up. It's got a range of different quality options in terms of shooting, SD, 720p HD, 1080p HD, and also configurable audio options as well. On the negative side, it does have an internal battery which will net you, 30 to 40 minutes shooting without a power supply, but obviously that's not going to last you all day. There's a new Vidiu Pro that has probably a few more features up its sleeve and longer battery life as well. And I'd say the visual fidelity is probably not comparable to a rackable higher end encoding device from the likes of Elemental, AWS Elemental or Epiphan Pearl. But overall, it's a great starter device. It's a good way to get started in live streaming, and it'll sort of grow as your needs grow as well. So Epiphan make a range of really interesting video encoding devices. Probably their most popular range of encoders is the Pearl family. So they started off with the Pearl, which is now discontinued, and now we have the Pearl-2 and the Pearl Mini. So we have a Pearl-2 here in the office, and you can see it's a pretty formidable device, pretty solid unit, and immediately you can see that it has a ton of internet connectivity options there on the back. It's got a range of video input sources, SDI, HDMI, USB. There's a range of really interesting audio sources or inputs that you don't see on a lot of other hardware encoding devices, including XLR and some analog inputs there as well. So plenty of connectivity options there. And one of the real benefits of this device for definitely a certain category of customer is it's got some sort of entry-level mixing capabilities on the device. So you can certainly drop in a whole stack of different video inputs there and use the unit itself to actually mix them in, do picture-in-picture, switch between video sources and perhaps a laptop source with some slides. So for people that don't have a full production team and a full sort of separate mixing setup, that's really powerful for small teams to do more sophisticated live streams. It has a nice on-screen display as well. Obviously it's off at the moment, but it lets you control certain aspects of the unit, check the details, switch between layouts even during the live stream, check your monitor and audio levels as well. So definitely packs a lot into the box. This is fully integrated into StreamShark's encoder management solution as well, so that gives you really sophisticated API-based control of the unit, such that you can just turn it on and then all the configuration and driving can happen through the StreamShark interface. So they definitely have some great APIs there available for folks like us to integrate with. On the negatives, there's not too many to speak of, but probably the biggest one is the 4K capabilities of the box. So it does support 4K, but that's actually a paid upgrade, which is also a not insignificant amount of money to unlock the 4K capability of the unit. And probably the other thing that it lacks compared to other comparable units on the market is the lack of file-based replay. So actually being able to have a looping VOD or a looping file as a video source to mix in with your live stream or your live production. AWS Elemental Live make a pretty wide range of video encoding devices or appliances that take a whole lot of different inputs, such as HDMI, SDI, and network-based inputs, as well as coming in a whole bunch of different form factors. So they certainly have a lot of rackable devices. They're very popular in the broadcast space, probably the gold standard there. But more recently, they've come to the market with lower cost, comparatively speaking, and smaller form factor units. So this is an example of a small form factor Elemental unit that has a couple of SDI inputs and dual NICs on the back. So there's a lot of positive attributes around these units. They're certainly very stable. It's a mature platform that's been around for quite some time now. They're definitely considered to have the best visual quality in the game, the best VQ in terms of the quality of the contribution that you're sending to your live streaming service, such as StreamShark. And they have a really rich API that we've leveraged extensively to integrate into our encoder management platform. And we have customers managing hundreds of Elemental units through StreamShark that are leveraging these really fantastic and detailed APIs to configure the units, start them, stop them, link them to different events and so on. On the negatives, not too many negatives, but these are considered some of the best units in the space. They're certainly pricey. Even the entry-level units are fairly pricey compared to some of the other competitors in the marketplace. They can be quite loud. This small form factor unit here is particularly loud, so it's probably not ideally suited to be using inside a production where there's mics or other sources that might be picking up the noise from these units. I know that's something they're working on addressing in terms of having fanless devices that are better suited for that application. And yeah, these are incredibly powerful devices. There's a ton of switches and settings you can play with, but there's a fair bit of complexity there as well. So they're definitely better suited to the video professional that has a lot of experience in tuning those parameters to get the most out of the unit. Entry-level users or smaller production houses might choose to look elsewhere for easier to use options in terms of getting them live and running repeatably successful live streaming events. Thanks for tuning in as we took a look at a range of different hardware video encoding devices and talked about some of the pros and cons about why you might want to use a hardware video encoder versus a software-based solution such as Wirecast or OBS. We looked at a range of different devices from Epiphan, from Teradek, and also from AWS Elemental, and just talk through some of the pros and cons of these devices. They certainly hit different price points and they're slightly geared towards different users and different utility in terms of whether you're shooting out in the field, whether you need something you can rack up in your data center, or if you want to use something in room while you're actually doing a live video production. So a lot of great options there. And in a future video, we're going to look at some other hardware encoding devices. We're going to take a look at the Wowza Clearcaster, which we're really excited about, that we're in the process of integrating with our encoder management solution. And also one of the higher end devices from Teradek, which is the Cube series of devices that are designed to be used out in the field by probably a intermediate to expert user of such technology. So thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button so you can see future content from us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.